make more video content and grow your email list and send that awesome quality video content via email to as many people as you possibly can, and then rinse and repeat and keep doing it.
Welcome back to another Carter and Custer episode on the Fast Foundations podcast. I'm your co-host, Jim Carter, and none other than
Mr. RT Custer hanging out over here. What's up?
We are doing it. So snow has fallen in Colorado, and it's California cold out here. I'm in a short sleeve shirt, and California cold's like 60, and everybody in the Colorado side just, screams at me. But
I think it was 12 degrees when I started my car today. And
12?
I realized on the way here that I have summer tires on my car. So that was...
How's that working out?
Steak. That's not good. But
okay.
I made it. I just went slow.
I'm glad you're here. So you were telling me you just had an awesome launch. And, we're always thinking about fun topics that we can just kind of unpack and, just expose. Again, like lifting the curtain, just talking about what we're doing that's working. And, dude, you just had an incredible launch. You were telling us, you were telling our team that you made over $250,000 in 10 minutes with this most recent launch that you had on Veterans Day. Like, what the hell? You have to expand on this. Like, I know a little bit of it, but I want to hear the story, and I know the listeners do too. So, like, what was this launch? And let's just start to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, you know how they talk about like the overnight success stories and how people just have to remind everyone, like, Tyler and I have been building Vortic Watch Company for a decade, and it's taken a very long time to get to the point where I can send an email and generate that kind of revenue in a short amount of time and execute a launch like that. This is also our fourth launch of the military edition. And what we're talking about is it's Vortic Watch Company, the military edition. It's vorticwatches.com/military if you want to check out this product. But we launch it every day or every year on Veterans Day. And it's the coolest watch on the face of the earth, and we charge accordingly. We had 50 units at $8,000 a piece and 15 units at $12,000 a piece. And we almost sold all of the $12,000 special editions, and we sold about half of the fourth edition at $8,000 a piece, all within the first 10 minutes of the launch at noon Mountain Time on November 11th. And so, yeah, it was very successful. And that's revenue, not profit. So that's more revenue for the company. And that's a significant portion of our total annual revenue in 10 minutes. But that's also the point. It's taken us a long time to build the level of, we don't even call them customers or clients. Like, we have fans, that's the really just fans of what we do. And it's just so fun, and I feel so grateful to have that level of support from our customers that they think what we do is so cool that they're willing to sit at their computer and rapidly push refresh so they can make sure they get one of the first and lowest serial numbers of this really cool watch that we do only one day.
That's really awesome, dude. Yeah, I know one of my favorite things about the email machine that you built is it's just hyper personalized, right? Like the first email is from you. You're like, hey, I'm the founder. I can't wait to tell you about this. Like, we talk about indoctrination series with email. We talk about like building that brand affinity, getting to know it, but like you take that to a different level. And I know email was a big part of this, and I want to ask that in a little bit, but let's actually kind of like zoom out and really, really think about this. You said this was the fourth launch, right? So 4 Veterans Days. This has been going for 4 years.
Yeah. First one was 2019. And we had the idea, basically, Vortic Watch Company main product line and only product line now is called the American Artisan Series. And for those that are new to that idea, we take antique American pocket watches and turn them into one-of-a-kind wristwatches. And we've been doing that since 2014 when we launched on Kickstarter. And one of the questions that we always get, and one of the coolest things about what we do, is if you send your grandfather's or grandmother's pocket watch to us, we can turn it into a wristwatch. And one customer years ago sent us one of these military pocket watches, and we stumbled on the history of the fact that like Hamilton Watch Company in the late 1930s was commissioned by the U.S. Army Air Corps to manufacture about 100,000 of these pocket watches for the B bombers in World War II. And it was called the Master Navigator's Watch. And we didn't know any of that stuff. And so we did all that research, and we just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And so we designed a custom case for it. And we could, since they made about 100,000 of them, 70 years ago or whatever, we figured like we can probably get enough of these to do a limited edition. And so our first edition of our military edition came out November 11th, 2019. And we sold out pretty quickly at that time, but we only had one option. We only made 50 of them. And yeah, we sold out in a few days on that. And our price point back then, our price point was $5,000 on that first watch. One customer emailed us this year, and we had a really good conversation. And he basically said, like, don't you think it's ambitious to charge $8,000 now for a similar product only 4 years later? And I said, yeah, it is ambitious. And that's the price that we originally wanted to charge in 2019. And I said this in an email to a customer. I said, we literally did not have the balls to charge that kind of
Too chicken shit to not charge enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's, I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot, Jim, and our friend and mentor, Chris Harder, he's been telling me for years, he's like, you got to charge what you're worth. These watches are fantastic. They're one of a kind. They're insanely cool. Why are you only charging that much for these watches? And, our price range is $2,500 to $12,000. Our price range used to be, when we launched on Kickstarter, we were selling watches for $800. And we didn't realize it was going to cost us more than that to manufacture it. So that was a travesty in 2014. That was very difficult.
You've got a few machines in
We've
your
come
building
a long way since then.
A little heavy machinery to do it.
Yeah, but that's the truth. Is when we started this in 2019, we wanted I think our ideal price point was like $7,500 to $8,000. We were just like, to us, we were kids. We were in our mid-20s at that point. Like, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. And as far as like pricing strategy, it's like we're all new to the watch industry anyway. And so to charge that much, we just didn't feel like we could. And we were definitely being too hard on ourselves, because now that we're charging what I feel like what we're worth and what these watches are worth, they're actually selling faster, and customers take us really seriously. Like, when I say our price range is $2,500 to $12,000, people are like, oh, okay, this is like a real luxury watch. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah, this isn't a hobby. Like, you guys are a company. Like, you really
we weren't just two kids making watches in a basement back in 2014. Now it's like we have 8,000 square feet of manufacturing downtown Fort Collins, Colorado, with like 8 humans in this building making watches all day, plus millions of dollars worth of equipment. My electric bill last month was $3,000. Just literally keeping the lights on and keeping the machine on.
Yeah.
So, we're not messing around anymore. And so, we've come a really long way. And like I said, I just feel really, really grateful that our customers have supported us throughout this, and that our customers have the balls to ask hard questions. You're just like, I used to be able to buy similar things for a different price. What's the difference here? And fast forward, I answered that question, and I was really, transparent with that customer. And he was just like, first of all, so awesome that you personally answered this email, because he sent it to our general inbox. And Kyle, who does our customer service, was like, I don't know how to answer this. I'm sorry. Can you help me with this one? And he's like, first of all, I'm so happy that you personally answered this. This is why I love Vortic Watch Company. This is going to be my third watch, and I'm going to buy one. Thank you. And so and now I think we shipped his on Friday. So like, yeah, just feel really grateful for the customers to support. And yeah, this was the fourth year of doing it, and we get better at launching new products every year. We get better at making the products every year. This watch on my wrist is, an example of what we sold, and we're charging $8,000 for it, and it's worth every penny of 10. So
I fully believe
and
it.
I say that with confidence.
Yeah, they're gorgeous timepieces. And there was an undertone in something that you said there that I want to make sure I highlight, which is the fact that your customers are confident and comfortable enough to be able to ask you a ballsy question like that, teamed with the fact that you're willing to reply, in integrity and honesty, and just like, this is why. Like, that is emblematic of why you do what you do, right? Because I know you pour into the fact that, like, this is American made. It carries history. It's our ambition, to bring this forward, and that's part of the story, right? And like, I know a big piece of this is email, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's the email series that explains that to people, right? So the fact that they're able to start with getting that level of transparency, from you, and connect with you and associate your name with what you guys are building. Like, do you agree or do you disagree? Like, that is like one of the key pieces that actually builds that fact that, like, people are sitting there waiting, refreshing for this launch. I think the way you're telling me, which is like, I mean, didn't Taylor, what's her name? Taylor Swift tickets just go on and everybody's just like breaking the internet and Ticketmaster trying to, like, I mean,
that was a mess.
I mean, you're not at a, Taylor Swift launch yet,
not that famous,
but it's the same concept, right? It's like people are waiting for this because they believe in it. Like, how does that feel, and how does that lead into the confidence of knowing that you can put so much on the line to have a successful launch? Because you were telling me, as you were getting ready for this, you're just like, I'm gonna make a ton of money on Veterans Day. Like, I just remember, like, you kept bringing that up, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm really proud of you. Like, it's gonna be awesome for you. And it was. There's this theme about entrepreneurship where you can, like, shoot for the stars and you believe in it, but you still have this little bit of doubt. Like, you were resolved that you knew it was gonna work. How much of that messaging and, like, building that customer rep, do you really feel led into you being able to really do this?
Yeah, I mean, that's everything, right? Like, it's the customers just love what we do. Otherwise, they wouldn't subscribe to our email list. They wouldn't, get 10 emails in 20 days from me all about this one product. They wouldn't buy. I mean, we manufacture something that you don't need and charge thousands of dollars for it. This is a watch. Any mechanical watch is a luxury product at this point. And so many people have Apple Watches or just don't wear watches at all anymore. And so this business is such an honor to run. It's so fun creating these experiences for people. That's the way we look at it, is like, it's not just a watch. Like, this is an heirloom. This is an experience. This is a curated piece of art that you wear on your wrist. And I think that's how the customers look at it. And because they look at it like that, it's not just any old product. Like, they want to know who's making it, how is it made, where is it made, what's the story behind it, does the team stand behind their product, do they love making this? And that, in this building, I'm the one that's on camera, and so I have to say all those things, and I get to say all those things, and that's every time I interact with a customer. It's just so fun to hear the story of, like, why they decided to buy this watch instead of a Rolex, why they decided to get this as an heirloom for for their family. A lot of these, the military edition, we donate $500 from the sale of every watch to the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative, which is one of the only schools in the world for watchmakers, and specifically is for U.S. military vets. And so I actually have a lot of customers reach out to us after they make this purchase, or even if they purchase a different watch, and they just say, thank you for doing what you do. And so it is confidence in that way, but it's earned, because, if I got hate email all the time, or if customers were just like, or if nobody bought these watches, I would have zero confidence in what we do. And so I just try to showcase the love that I have for this business and the love that my team has for making these products as much as I can. And I think that shows in the results of these customers that come out to support us, every year on that day and every day when we make a new watch for our Watch of the Day program. Hey, it's RT. Thanks so much for listening to the Fast Foundations podcast. I want to see you in the room. I don't want you to just be hearing my and our voices. Let me tell you about the Fast Foundations Mastermind. It's a 6-month-long program, and it's our signature program. It's how you join our community. Every time we talk about this amazing community of almost 400 people that have gone through our mastermind that we have here on the podcast, that we hear from, and our mentors, all that kind of stuff, all the guest speakers, the coaches, all the awesome things that we get to do, it all starts with the mastermind. It's a 6-month-long program with two-day in-person events. One's in Scottsdale, one's in Denver. Yes, they're in amazing, beautiful places. We have them in cool spots because that's fun. We also give you 6 months with a coach, one-on-one. And the most important thing is once you go through that mastermind and you learn from all these amazing speakers that we bring in, learn from your coach, grow with me and Jim and the rest of our team, you get lifetime access to our community. Every single thing that we do is recorded and uploaded into a private platform off of Facebook, off of the social medias, all that kind of crap. And it's saved in one place that you have, again, lifetime access to. So when you join the Fast Foundations Mastermind, which you can learn more about at fastfoundations.com and click on Join the Community to apply. When you join this mastermind, you're in our community for life. I really hope to see you in the room, and I hope to talk to you soon.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you expanding on that. And you guys, right? This was an online launch, right? Just because you have a building doesn't mean that like people were lined up, waiting to actually check out. Like you weren't even there, right? Weren't you in Arizona?
Yeah. We did the launch from Arizona, which is always really stressful. I'm like hot spotting to my laptop. Right. From my phone, trying to click all the buttons I need to do for launch and all that stuff. But we had a show. We go to the Fountain Hills Festival of the Arts every year, and it just happened to also be on Veterans Day. And so myself and a few of our team members were sitting in the tent during the launch and trying to navigate, other, potential customers coming up and talking to us and all that stuff. But that's the other thing you can do with email marketing is just set expectations. Just say like, hey, there's only one way to purchase this watch, and you go to vorticwatches.com/military at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on 11/11, and you click buy. You can't buy this in person. You can't call us to try to get it done faster. We try, and most of that is out of fairness and just trying to give everyone ample opportunity because we didn't know. I mean, I was fairly confident that we were going to totally sell out. And like I said, we only sold, about half of the 50. We almost sold out of the special edition, but I thought we would sell out faster just based on the reactions I was getting to the emails and the open rate of all these emails. Yeah, there was a lot of people paying attention. But we also changed a lot this year. So yeah, it's one of those things where we do the best we can to set everyone's expectation and walk through it. And I do all of that virtually. I do all of it via email. And that's the other thing that makes me feel grateful is like every single one of these customers, or most of them, purchase this sight unseen. They've never held one before. And so that level of trust that you have to have with a brand to swipe your credit card for roughly $10,000 without ever seeing this thing in person, that's the other thing is that we try, Tyler and I wake up every day trying to figure out how to continuously build that trust with our customers and our followers. And the best way to build trust is just to be really transparent and open and honest about everything that you do. And so we try our hardest, and here I am doing the same right now.
and that's it, man. And the key there too is consistency, right? You launched, what did you say, 2014 was when this originally?
2014 is when we launched on Kickstarter, and 2019 the first launch of
2019 here.
this product. Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get as tactical as we can for the listeners, like what worked, what didn't work with that context and story. So, would you say that this year was a success compared to the other years? More successful, less successful? Like, how did it evolve? How did the launch evolve? And what were some things that worked? Maybe even what are some things that didn't work?
Yeah. So email marketing is how we do it all. And that's what works. I mean, 100% of the time, all the time, but it only works if you're consistent. So one of the things we've done for the last 4 years is I built a segment of our email list called the Military Edition waiting list. And when you go to that page of our website, basically /military, instead of just signing up for our general email newsletter, which has tens of thousands of people on it, you can sign up for a waiting list that has, at the first time in 2019, I mean, there was probably 500 or 600 people on that list. And that list got a heads up. They got lots more information. They got a series of emails ahead of time of like, here's how to buy it, here's how to order, all that kind of stuff. And my general list and that segment has grown year over year. And so, it's a numbers game, it's statistics. And so if I have 50 watches to sell, and I had, like this year, we had 4,200 people on that list, average open rate of about 31% on that email. Click rate, bounces around all the time, but I tried to do the math of just like, okay, how many people do I need on this email list to be able to sell that many watches? And when you look at the statistics year over year, the last 4 years, about 10% or would that be 1%? Yeah, 40 out of 4,000. So we've about 1%, and that makes sense for click rate wise. About 1% of the people that I sent that email to purchased in the first 10 minutes year over year. And so first year that was, just a couple dozen people. And then this year that was 40 some people. And so that's really the key is over the last, really all 12 months of this year, not only have we been collecting all the pocket watches, manufacturing all of the other parts that we need, like building the product, we also have been building our email list and trying to get those numbers as high as possible. And also curating the email list to make sure that I'm sending really good content all the time so that people don't unsubscribe and they want to keep following along. And that all has worked really well. And I send most of those automated emails like personally, like I wrote them, got some help from the team, like creating the flows. And then I basically encourage people to answer those emails and ask me questions at the end of each email. And that's huge. That makes a huge difference because I get people that answer those emails and ask me really good questions. And then I answer their questions directly to them. But then I put the questions that they ask in our frequently asked questions box at the bottom of the webpage. And in future emails, I'm saying, hey, I got a couple questions about this. Here's your answer. Here's some other context. Here's a video about that. People have questions. So the more you can answer before the launch, the easier that launch goes.
Right. It's awesome, man. That really was going to be my last question is just like, what's the one thing that can make for a successful launch, at least the way that you're building it? I think I know the answer. Sounds like email, right?
Yeah, email.
Like that was the big one.
If you had two things, I would say email and video content. And that's the other thing that you and I talk about all the time. Like my next year, my 2023 is how can I spend the most time in front of a camera on video, just talking about all the cool stuff that we do in all our businesses and send the most emails to the most amount of people using that content. And that's really what it was for the military edition is we recorded and we brought in a professional videography team.
Oh yeah. That video was so gorgeous when you showed me, dude. Oh,
videos that we made this year for the military edition were insane.
It so looked cool. Like the first time you showed me when we were sitting together, you just got the cut. Yeah. I remember I was just like, this looks like I'm watching a History Channel promo. It was ridiculously cool. And
that video. Yeah, and that video costs like, I don't know, $12,000 to produce. But now that's evergreen content on that website
Yeah,
for years and years.
and I mean, in perspective, you sell 1.5 watches or one of your big ones. You've paid
Mhm.
you paid the cost of that back, but like that's the business that we built at CNC is like the power of repurposing your content and doing more with it.
100%.
Just the same way you said, like just because you invest in one thing one time doesn't mean it has a half-life and it dies right when you post it. You can clip that, you can reuse it. You're gonna have so many people a year from now that even forget that they watched it this year. You just send the same video again, maybe update it, slight little
Yep.
tweaks, things like that. There's so many opportunities when you invest in something once that you can do more with it later.
Yeah. So that's what worked. That's what has worked. That's what is going to work. I mean, that's really what we're going to talk about on this podcast. And I mean, every podcast I get interviewed for, it's like, make more video content and grow your email list and send that awesome quality video content via email to as many people as you possibly can, and then rinse and repeat and keep doing it. And that's how we're growing everything. But that's, in today's virtual world, like I can't hand you this watch in person. We make 50 of these a year. It's not like I can send one to 50 different jewelry stores so that everybody can like check it out. That doesn't make any sense. So we film some amazing videos. We, show it on wrists in videos, and we just distribute that to as many people as possible. And our chosen platform for that is YouTube and our email list. And I mean, it just works. And I can't talk enough about that. But it only works if it's like really consistent. You can't just send one email and then hope it works. Like we have 8 emails that are automated in the military edition journey that all get sent, after you subscribe to that waiting list. And then we have 22 emails in our main journey on the main website, and they get sent every few days, and they're all just really informational about like, here's what we do, here's how we do it, here's why we do it, here's what we stand for, here are the charitable organizations we support, here's a bunch of pictures and video of all these watches so you can check it out ahead of time. And then, we try to write those really personally and then ask like at the end, like, do you have any questions? Answer this email. We'll get right back to you. And that's how we sell. We don't have salespeople. We just try to put amazing content on our website and out via email and then answer questions.
Just being the biggest fan for your brand and talking about it every opportunity you get, right?
That's it. Yep.
Well, dude, congratulations on an incredible launch. I'm always proud of you. I'm proud to call you a business partner, but I'm also just, I love learning from you when you get creative. I mean, there's a reason that we do this together is, you have these incredible ideas for how you can reach new audiences, stretch out and do new things. And it all just comes back to content, right? The more you can be the biggest fan of your brand, be consistent about it and put it out there, people are going to pay attention, and then the right people are going to buy. So any final words, man? What was the website again, so people can watch that video and they can just check out the email sequence if they want to learn from how it worked for you?
Yeah. So it's vorticwatches.com/military. That's V as in Victor, ORTIC watches.com/military. And if you have served the U.S. military or are serving, use discount code military to get 10% off everything we ever do at vorticwatches.com. And thank you for your service. And the only thing that I'd like to plug is not any of these products, but the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative is why we do all this stuff.
Super cool charity. I loved learning about them when you told me about it.
Yeah, they teach U.S. military vets how to be watchmakers. And if you know anything about the skilled trades, there's a huge skilled trade gap. We do not have enough watchmakers, machinists, plumbers, woodworkers, craftspeople in the U.S., because people don't know they can even do those jobs, and they don't realize that a lot of those jobs pay just as much as the engineering job that I got out of school when I went to school for, I went to school for 5 years, but that's a whole nother story. But you can go to school for 2 years and make just as much as an engineer that went to a 4-year school. So thank you to that team there for doing that. And like one of the emails I send is why we built the military edition, why we do it, and how we give back. And as soon as we sell out of all the watches, we get to write a nice big check over to them. And create more opportunities for education and jobs. So that's why
Talk
we
about
do
a
it.
feel-good moment to bring it all together. All right, brother. I appreciate
Right.
you. Thank you for expanding on that. Proud of you for that massive launch. And man, keep pushing.
Thanks, Jim. Let's go.
All right. Until next time. See you guys soon.